Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you the 10 best ways to improve your aim. Let's not waste any time and get straight into it. Coming in at number 1, we have aim botz. This is without a doubt everybody's favourite practice map and by far the best tool available to help you practice your aim. The map itself offers a wide variety of options ranging from uneven terrain, varying distances, boxes and moving opponents. This gives you the great opportunity to tailor your practice specifically for your own needs. One thing I would recommend though is practicing each of the shooting styles in blocks, in the sense of doing 100 kills tapping, 100 spraying and 100 bursting. This will really help you with the muscle memory and allow you to perfect each individual shooting style. Coming in at number 2, we have the map Recoil Master. This is definitely by far the best place to learn and practice your sprays. At the top of the screen here, it's going to show you the exact spray pattern for your gun, and if you follow the dot on your screen, it's going to show you in real time exactly where you need to be aiming during the spray to get it as tight as possible. I like to do this just before I go on aim botz to make sure I'm practicing the perfect spray patterns. You're going to be able to select any weapon you need from the wall on the left here, and it's going to show and teach you all the different spray patterns you're going to need for your favourite guns. While you're practicing though, it's important not to forget to use the options at the top left of the screen here to vary the distance of the wall, allowing you to practice those medium to long range sprays and get your spray perfect at all distances. Guys, never underestimate how important it is to practice your spray regularly just to make sure it's as tight as possible, due to there being a lot of situations where you'll be hitting a target a lot, maybe land 4 shots on them and then ending up on 10 HP, whereas if your spray was just a tiny bit tighter and you managed to keep one of those stray bullets on target, you'd end up getting the kill and staying alive. Coming in at number 3, we have pre-aim and crosshair placement. For this one we're going to be taking a look at a clip from Tabson. He's going to get pop flashed into Pop Dog Room here, and we're going to be taking a look in super slow motion at his crosshair placement. Now, when we slow it down, we're going to notice the perfect height he keeps his crosshair at while he strafes into the room. He doesn't even necessarily need to move his mouse, he just pulls into the room and keeps his crosshair at head height till it reaches the target. He pirouettes, maintaining that same head height, and then aims towards the bottom of the ladders for where the opponent's going to land and where his head's going to be. Very little aim was required to do this, and this is really just a demonstration of how exceptionally good Tabson's crosshair placement was. By nullifying that need to make large adjustments with your mouse, you're reducing the variables for you to miss. So this is one of the reasons that gives Tabson that unparalleled consistency when he's aiming. For this next clip, we're going to be looking at a different aspect of crosshair placement. In this example, we're going to be paying attention to how Zentaras is pre-aiming his opponent and his angles through the walls way before he peeks the angle. You can already see how he's made the lineup on the wall before even peeking out, so while he strafes side to side, he doesn't have to make much adjustment at all if the opponent's waiting at the bottom of short here for him. Combined, these two aspects make up the bulk of crosshair placement and pre-aim. Mastering these two techniques is really what's going to help you take your game to the next level, giving you that highly sought after consistency. At number 4, we have crosshair. The map we're going to be using for this is Crosshair Generator. At this center control panel, you're going to be able to completely customize your own unique crosshair, ranging from the size, color, and thickness. Alternatively, you can come to the wall here and select the exact crosshair from a wide variety of pro players. On that note, let me know down below guys, which pro player you think has the best aim. I would definitely recommend you guys taking the time to do this step, because it's very important to get a crosshair that is easily visible for you, as well as one that you can accurately discern the center of at extended ranges, as well as not being too small at close range that leaves you unable to track a target. For tip number 5, we have a workshop map called Training Aim CSGO. I recommend using a delay of 0.25 seconds with a static tar duration of 0.5. This means you're going to have a quarter of a second between each target, and the target is only going to be visible on your screen for half a second. This is going to give you a super intense and quick warm-up. I typically like to use 5 sets of 100 targets. This usually only takes about 5 or 6 minutes, and it's really going to prime you for peak performance just before you go into a game. This is great, for example, if you've just come home from work and you don't feel like putting in a full session on aim botz or deathmatch and just want to get warmed up as quickly as possible and jump into a game, this is your go-to tool for that. It's important though to remember not to fall into the trap that I'm even guilty of myself, of this becoming a permanent substitute for your aim bots or deathmatch, because it's a much quicker and easier way of training your aim. But this really is a tool for peaking, and it's in those other maps and training that you're going to get that long-term improvement. In addition to the speed warm-up for your rifle aim, the map also comes with a feature to help you train your reaction times. For this mode, you simply need to click as soon as the target flashes blue. With the control panel on your left, you can systematically reduce the time in which the target flashes blue to help you increase that reaction speed. I recommend starting at 0.34 and then systematically lowering it once you can hit that target every single time. I'm personally currently stuck at 0.24, but hopefully you guys will be able to beat it. At number 6, we have motivation. Now this really is the Achilles heel to the entire video, because it's most likely motivation and a desire to improve that got you to this video. But what do we do when we don't feel quite as motivated, not quite as energized or as enthusiastic about doing the practice? Because we've all had those days where we just don't want to do it. The best solution I've found to this dilemma is habit forming. The way I've gone about developing that habit is every time I launch Counter-Strike, I like to deathmatch for about 5 minutes. After doing this for long enough, it started to just feel unnatural not to do it. So I ended up inadvertently tricking myself into practicing every day. And more times than not, even though I'd only aim for 5 minutes, I'd often end up doing more just because I was on the server at that point. And on some days I'd even enjoy it. It's important to remember it's motivation that gives us that initial force that propels us forward and to take action, but it's discipline and habits that keep us on that pathway. Coming in at number 7, we have sensitivity. For this one, the first thing we're going to want to do is aim here on a fixed point, ideally a bot's head, and move and rotate around. We want to go in large circles around and try to keep our crosshair exactly on the target's head. If we find the aim swaying too far to the left or the right, it means our sensitivity is either too high or too low. You want to continually make micro adjustments, increasing or decreasing your sensitivity by 0.1 at a time until you are able to comfortably keep the crosshair on the target's head. The next thing you're going to want to make sure you're able to do is to spin 180 degrees in a single swipe on the mouse mat. Depending on the size of your mouse mat and desk, you may have to increase or decrease your sensitivity again accordingly, so it can become quite a juggling act, being able to both trace the target while still having enough flexibility and range of movement to be able to completely clear all corners. Coming in at number 8, we have shooting styles. This, without a shadow of a doubt, is probably one of the most important aspects of aiming. What shooting styles encompasses is the 3 major types of aiming, which is spraying, bursting, and tapping. Each one of these is its own unique skill, and each one has to be practiced individually and mastered. This is one of the most common mistakes I see throughout all of Counter-Strike. People will typically prefer a certain style of shooting, and that becomes their default go-to in all aim engagements. So for example, I've seen players who prefer to spray almost exclusively at all ranges, long, medium and close, against targets where they can only see their head, where the target's moving, or even when they're on low HP. Ideally, you want to be using the best tool for the job, the best style in each situation. And that's one of the things that really sets apart professional play from most others. It's their ability to analyze the situation and choose the perfect shooting style to engage each target to give themselves the best opportunity to win. The most effective way I've found to train this is to use each style exclusively on any given day. So one day I'll just spray, one day I'll just tap, and one day I'll just burst. And it's very important because this will teach you when not to use each of the styles, as well as the optimal situation to use them. So you'll get a much better perspective on your engagements. That brings us nicely on to number 9, which is deathmatch. Everybody's worst nightmare. Now, it's important to remember that nobody really wants to do deathmatch for an extended period of time, but it is absolutely necessary. It is what you do in the darkness that puts you in the light. Deathmatch is where champions are made, and there's a very simple reason for that. Typically speaking, in a general game, you'll get around 45 engagements across the span of an hour. That's the average time of a match. Whereas in deathmatch, in the space of 10 minutes, you can rack up 150 to 200 aim engagements. This is going to help you improve your aim exponentially faster than simply playing normal matches. And I'm sure you'd all agree, if you had a choice of playing against an opponent that had played 3 or 4 hours of pug games today, or was just on deathmatch for 3 or 4 hours, you're picking the guy who played pug games, without a shadow of a doubt. And finally, coming in at number 10, we have confidence. Now this may seem like a bit of a strange one to be on the list, but confidence is absolutely essential when you're playing, or when you're doing anything for that matter. When you peek an opponent, if you do not believe you're going to win that engagement when you peek into him, more often than not, you're not going to. And this is a real phenomenon that I've seen over many years playing in many teams with many players. For example, when my teams have been really far behind in matches, like 10-1 down or something along these lines, or when they're playing against an opponent that they believe is better than them and they don't believe they can win, their performance decreases drastically. And the cure to this, the remedy, is everything you've seen in this video. That is the key to confidence. Confidence comes from the hard work and preparation that you've put in. Thank you guys for sticking with me throughout this video. I know it's been quite a long one, so I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time.